Namaste. My name is Balabhadra. Welcome to this video, which will prove that the soul, your soul, is eternal. This is a grand and wonderful insight. But how do we know that it is true? Do we rely on faith, or can we prove, using accepted disciplines, that the eternal soul is, in fact, true? The conclusion reached about eternal soul and you is a challenge to believe. So amazing it is difficult to appreciate. However, based on the reasoning and understanding presented here, this conclusion is reached. To verify, we will use two accepted disciplines, science and philosophy. Science, which investigates and explains material reality, the reality around us made up of atomic particles, and philosophy, which investigates and explains non-material reality. We will be using two disciplines of philosophy to understand reality: logic and what is called empiricism. Empiricism means using your personal experience. Before beginning, be aware that this video is interactive, in the sense that I will be directing questions to you and eliciting responses based on your experience. Now let's get started. There are two characteristics of soul that we can detect from our experience that will lead to the conclusion that soul is eternal. We can detect the two characteristics by comparing two events from your experience that you have observed: an alive body and a dead body. We begin the proof by using a branch of science known as mathematics and use a simple subtraction equation to compare the two events. Being alive minus something equals being dead. Or you could say an alive body minus something equals a dead body. In other words, what is the difference between being alive and being dead? And we know from our experience that there is a difference. It would appear that something is present with an alive body that isn't present with a dead body. Now, what is the difference? Let us use our experience to reveal what the question mark represents. Here is the question for you, leading to the first insight and characteristic. What is one obvious thing we notice that is there with an alive body that is not there with a dead body? What is present in a live body that is not present in a dead body? Can the dead body move itself? In other words, is it capable of self-movement? The obvious answer is no. Can an alive body move itself? Is it capable of self-movement? The obvious answer is yes. What does the alive body have that permits it to move itself? The conclusion would be energy. Here is a hint to determine the second characteristic. Can a dead body see, hear, touch, taste, smell? The obvious answer is no. Can an alive body see, hear, touch, taste, smell? The obvious answer is yes. Then what is present with an alive body that makes this possible? The answer is consciousness. Obviously, the alive body has consciousness. A digression. You could say that consciousness is a result of the brain, but the brain is comprised of essentially atoms, in other words, matter, and matter does not have consciousness. If it did, you could say that things like a rock, a chair, a pen, a table also have consciousness, and we know from our experience that these things made of matter do not have consciousness. Logically and obviously, the brain is not the source of consciousness. You could say that the mind is the source of consciousness, but the mind is a mysterious, unknowable entity that does not provide any further insight into what is consciousness, other than it would somehow need to be associated with the brain. Then one difference is consciousness. It is energy that is the key to the proof of eternal soul. The occurrence of energy is one of the most amazing phenomena in the universe. It is the foundation of all things that exist, and evasive in our ability to totally understand. To prove that soul is eternal, we rely on the branch of science known as physics. Physics describes a quality of energy in what is known as the law of conservation of energy. The law of conservation of energy is a law stating energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be changed or transferred. We are interested in the first part. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. If energy cannot be created and cannot be destroyed, it has always existed and will always exist in the future. In other words, energy is eternal. To show the two characteristics exist, let us start with some reasoning to exercise your logical questioning. Here is the question. How do you know soul exists? The answer is found in a personal empirical question. How do you know you exist? You know you exist because you have and are using consciousness. And logically, if consciousness exists, it must have energy to sustain it, thus showing the two characteristics are united. Also, energy cannot be separated from consciousness and be united with consciousness to produce soul. If energy was separated from consciousness, consciousness could not exist to allow for uniting to occur. Thus, logic proves that energy and consciousness are united throughout, and that consciousness sustained by energy is eternal. It is these two characteristics, energy and consciousness, that traditionally have been referred to as soul, which alternatively can be expressed as energy and consciousness being two characteristics of soul. The real you. Jainism says what is truly yours is that which can never be taken away from you. From this view, your body is not you, as it can be taken as what happens at the time of death. And what remains is what was represented by the question mark in the subtraction equation. The eternal, everlasting energy with consciousness, soul. The real you. Some questions with the purpose of enhancing your understanding and leading to the awesome fact about you. Are you an alive being? Obviously, yes. And what is necessary for you to be an alive being? Answer: a soul. Then what do the answers to these questions reveal about you? Answer: there is a part of you that will never die, that lives on before and after death, eternally. Here is an additional intriguing question about you, which increases the awesomeness of what you are and where you have been. How long has this planet been in existence? According to science, approximately 4.5 billion years. And we concluded that the real soul you is eternal. The question is then, if this planet is 4.5 billion years and the real soul you is eternal, where were you before this planet Earth came into existence? Reality is a marvelous mystery. It is a Jain tradition which explains the mystery and presents the soul as a fact of reality, existing eternally from beginningless beginning to endless end. This presentation has validated this Jain assertion using logic and science, revealing an awesome cosmic conclusion about all living beings. Now take a moment to reflect on the insight presented in this video and feel the effect of the real eternal you on your consciousness. Namaste. I bow to your eternal, everlasting energy with consciousness soul, the real you. If you have any comments or questions, my contact details are on my website, www.appliedjainism.com.